The girl was going to the toilet, but her parents were standing in front of her. After the solution, the daughter tied a bag full of knots and then passed it to her father, who threw it outside because the three of them had been trapped in the pit for more than 2 months and had to eat, drink and sleep here, and the culprit of all this was their son. But at this rate, the father would always miss one day, and gradually the hole became stinky and foul. At the same time, their son was having fun with his classmates, and only at midnight would he control the drone and come to the top of the hole to observe his parents and sister. The father yelled at his son for being such an asshole, but Peter couldn't hear him. The next day, as he was saying goodbye to his classmates, Peter took $50,000 out of the ATM and gave it to his classmates. In his mind, it was only right that he should pay his classmates for all the time they had spent with him. It was only right that they should be paid for the work they did. However, not long after sending off his classmates, his mother's best friend came to visit him again. She was very puzzled as to why she had not been able to contact Peter's mother, and Peter, who had a weak heart, simply could not answer. Seeing the boy stammers, the woman also sensed a hint of something wrong, said turned away and then called. The police, unbeknownst to Peter, already had a plan to deal with. He first locked all the doors of the house, and then hid himself in the upper floors of the fake no one in home situation. The police did not find anything unusual, but they did not know that in the pit in the middle of the forest, 3 unlucky people were dying. Since Peter did not send food for a few days, the 3 were already hungry and weak, and they had already thought of the worst. Time passes quickly. Peter, also gradually tired of this life. This day he had a sudden idea to make a dinner and then pass the bucket to the cave family. Hungry 3 people do not care whether it is good or not, pick up and began to devour. At night, Peter sleeps alone in the large villa. At this moment, he finally realized that the original adults in the world is not as interesting as imagined. Regret. He came to the pit in the early hours of the morning, looking at the bottom of the wretched family. Peter, for a moment, do not know what to do. Suddenly, he had a plan. Not long after, his parents were awakened by a noise, but to their surprise, they found a ladder slowly lowered, with which the 3 of them finally escaped from the nightmare pit. Just as they were looking for Peter all over the woods, they found a body floating in the pool. The parents thought that Peter had a bad conscience and had an accident, so they fished him out at once, but they didn't know that it was an intentional act by Peter to alleviate the anger of their parents. At the end of the movie, the 3 of them are afraid that Peter is doing something bad, so they don't blame him, and finally, the father brings in a dredge to fill in the hole that has caused so much harm, and the movie comes to an end.